Yesterday in our program, we began looking at the fact that our language changes over time, and as such, definitions of words that are common to us may be vastly different today than what they were many years ago. And we did some comparisons with a couple of words, mainly marriage and sin, and we looked at the definition from the first edition of Webster's Dictionary in 1828. And we compared that with the common meanings of those words today. And what we found were some shocking differences. For in each one of these instances in 1828, there was a direct religious connection to the definition of these things. For instance, marriage was seen as a union between a man and a woman, and it was considered a lifelong covenant. Well, that definition has vastly changed today to involve many different things that God never intended for marriage to be. We talked about the word sin and how in 1828 it was seen as the act of breaking a religious or moral law, an offense, error, or fault. But nowadays we seldom hear this word used. It is a word that is seemingly on its way out in our vocabulary of the day. But today I wanted to share with you one more word that we see vast changes coming to, and that is the word law. In a modern dictionary, we may see the word law defined as a binding custom or a practice of a community, a rule of conduct or action prescribed or formally recognized as binding or enforced by a controlling authority. But when we go back to Noah Webster, in his 1828 first edition dictionary, we find law is defined in this way. It is a rule, particularly an established or permanent rule, prescribed by the supreme power of a state to its subjects for regulating their actions, particularly their social actions. Laws are imperative or mandatory, commanding what shall be done, prohibitory, restraining from what is to be forborne or permissive, declaring what may be done without incurring a penalty. The laws which enjoin the duties of piety and morality are prescribed by God and found in the Scriptures. Have you noticed the shift in thinking toward law? The latter definition gives law as objective, while the former renders law subjective in nature. We have a growing disrespect and disregard for the rule of law today. Many look upon laws as being merely suggestive and not regulatory or mandatory. Only when we're made to respect the laws of God will we have respect for the laws of the land. We should not expect attitudes toward civil law to improve until attitudes toward divine law are made better as well. We stop and we think today of all of the times that we see those who are charged with upholding the law being assaulted, being killed, being criticized and slandered. We look at our police officers who put their lives on the line each and every day to protect us and uphold the laws. And we look at the way that they are mistreated in so many places today. The way that they are criticized and looked down upon for simply doing what is right. We certainly see that there is a different view of law today than there once was, and this is a shame. Now, of course, there are some words in the modern dictionaries that are not found in the 1828 dictionary, as new discoveries, inventions, and experiences bring new words. For instance, in 1828, you won't find a definition for the automobile, for internet, the telephone, Velcro, zippers. These are all things that have been invented since 1828. And so we see that the dictionary has expanded in many ways. But we also see some other words whose definitions have vastly changed. For instance, If you go back to 1828 and you look at the word gay, you'll find that this is a word that means happy. But not if you look at a modern dictionary. You see that it is something vastly different. Something that is sinful and an abomination to God. Friends, we need to pay close attention to the true meaning of the language that we use. If it's things that have a religious connotation, we need to keep it as such and not make common those things that God has given significance to. Friends, we want to thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.